Thank you guys so much. I am so thrilled to be here. I go to a lot of these conferences, but this is definitely one of my favorites. I love this town. I love what Ed and Amanda have done, and I appreciate them having me come and speak. You know, Amanda said to me, can you speak on Friday night for just 15 minutes? And I was like, gosh, I mean, it's hard for me to get to speak 15 minutes. I mean, I could speak for an hour on blueberries alone. And so I really had to stop and think, well, what am I going to speak about in just 15 minutes? I mean, what am I going to get through really quickly? And I started really thinking about, well, why am I doing this? I mean, I could talk about science, but you guys are going to get science to death. I'm going to give you an hour lecture on science on Sunday. You're going to hear it from Dr. Greger. You've heard it from Dr. Kahn and Dr. Carney. So I don't want to talk so much about science. I want to talk about why are we here this weekend? Why are you guys coming here? Why are you sitting in the audience? Why are we talking about this? And of course, part of that is to learn and to grow and to change, because that's part of the human spirit. It's part of the meaning of life, is to continue to grow and to continue to evolve and to not be static. And so you're going to come here and you're going to learn from us, and we're going to try and teach you the things that we've learned in our scientific endeavors. But you know what? It's not rocket science. You know, eat food. Not too much, mostly plants, as Michael Pollan said. And that basically, I mean, patients come to me and I see everything, right? They've got hypertension. What should I do, doctor? You should eat plants. I'm overweight. What should you do? Plants. I've got ulcerative colitis. What should I do? You know, it gets a little bit mundane. And so, you know, when you often hear us, this kind of dichotomy, we talk two different things. We talk about plant-based diets and we talk about veganism, right? And they're two very separate things. I've kind of shied away from the term veganism because I have always felt as a doctor that while I'm vegan because of something else, ethics and worrying about the planet, etc., I'm plant-based for health. And when I'm talking to my patients, I want them to be plant-based. And a lot of what you hear is going to be about being plant-based, but I want you to have an overall mindset about something more than just health. This is a health fest, but this isn't just the health fest for your health, it's the health of our world and much more. And I want you to leave here as a warrior for a movement. I want you to be the change you wish to see in the world. And when we get out there, you know, we all get on Facebook and we all get on Twitter, and as Chef AJ says, I get on there quite a bit. And I try to change opinions with words, but really what happens is examples that need to change opinions. And let me tell you something, opinions need to change because the rest of the world has got their head buried in the sand, all right? They're mindlessly out there. I see people eating so mindlessly, not thinking about where their food comes from, so hypocritical, right? No idea where their food is actually coming from. And I hope there's no kids in the audience, but anyway, the world's gone kind of crazy. And you know, sometimes I feel like I'm in the twilight zone with this. I feel like this is, what kind of world have we all of a sudden woken up to? When this guy is leading the election, when Eat Fat, Get Thin is a bestseller. When I go in and I see this in our YMCA, healthy vending machine with Cheetos and Doritos, and they're giving 10% of profits to childhood obesity, crazy. And then, you know, one thing that I've really been after lately is hospitals. When I see a patient at a hospital with their IV pole ordering Burger King, I want to die. It's crazy. Just recently, the World Health Organization, after many, many years of study, and I'm talking, I've got the report at my house, and it is, my wife wants me to get rid of it because it's taking up space. It's huge. They reviewed it forever, and they said that processed meat is a class 1 carcinogen on par with smoking. That came out and I was like, okay, my job's over, right? The World Health Organization, in combination with the American Institute of Cancer Research, says that processed meat and red meat cause cancer. I don't need to argue this anymore. What happened? The next day there were all these articles about how, no, you really can't eat meat. It's good for you. I mean, really, meat is the new tobacco. It's a carcinogen like tobacco, and yet you don't see anybody talking about it like that. I mean, I love this go vegan. You wouldn't let your child smoke, and yet at every child function I go to with my children, kids are eating hot dogs like crazy. No one changed. No one bat their eyelashes for 1 second at this result. So here's my daughter. She's a true vegetarian and hates the sign behind her. And here's my other daughter eating her romaine lettuce and her bean soup. And we go out to eat with families, and they're eating hot dogs with their children, and my kids are eating their salad. And they say to me, "Aren't you worried about their nutrition?" I'm dumbfounded. Now, of course, the reason they ask that is because they've all gotten their internet doctor of medicine. And so they therefore know more than me, because they read a study that said that vegetarian diets cause cancer. There was one that came out yesterday that was so ridiculous. I talk about it on my Facebook. I won't waste too much time just to tell you. In fact, the author of it was reaching out publicly today to say that the newspapers totally misread what he said. But people read these things like Steve Jobs died because of his vegan diet, or there's benefits of red meat. And I always try to tell people this famous line from Abraham Lincoln, which is, don't believe everything you read on the internet just because there's a picture quote next to it. But it's not just a layperson phenomena. So I'm at my hospital the other day, and it's Registered Dietitian Month, Eat Right, and they have a nutritionist dietitian day. I'm like, oh, really? Eat Right. Let's see what they got. So I go into the cafeteria, and I go up to the main little serving bar, and this is what they've got. With this, and by the way, that morning, and I sent a letter to the hospital. I said, the World Health Organization just said that bacon causes cancer, and we're serving this to our cancer patients at our cancer institute. And the results of that we will see. But here's the problem. People are fed by a food industry which pays no attention to health, and they're treated by a health industry that pays no attention to food. I'll talk more about that on Sunday. But a classic example is the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Do we have any dietitians out there? Okay, we've got a few. You guys know about your governing body, right? Absolutely supported. They had their national conference in Houston, and I was on the news because McDonald's was the head funder of it, and they were having a lecture there about how an Egg McMuffin is a great choice in the morning. And you've got Coca-Cola now, Diet Coke, it's so great for your heart, and milk, it does a body good, and, beef, it's what's for dinner. They're actively trying to market to you. There's this group in Texas, they will pay for any entry to any race if you wear their Fueled by Beef. And the only good thing about this is if I see them in a race, I run much faster to try to pass them. Here I am at the Chicago Marathon with this guy. Sponsored by, the Chicago Marathon, sponsored by McDonald's. And of course, he doesn't know that I'm making fun of him, but I am. Food politics is interesting because Marion Nestle goes into some of the absolute unbelievable food politics. But just look at this. I got to give the USDA credit, because the USDA has come out with some pretty good, they've changed it. Instead of saying meat, they say protein. They say we should mainly be eating fruits and vegetables. But this is what they say we should eat, but what do they fund? Where does our tax dollars go? This is how much of our tax dollars, less than 1%, goes to fruits and vegetables. The rest goes to meat and dairy and grains to feed our meat and dairy. And so there's a huge mismatch between what we should be eating for our health, what the government says we should be eating, and yet what the government is funding. And in the end, we have a situation where we're eating more, and we're eating, we never went on a low-fat diet as some people think. We've eaten more fat, we're eating more meat, we're eating more dairy. And so is there a healthcare cure? Yes, there is. We spend more of our money, of our GDP on health than any other country in the world, and there's an answer to this, and that answer is a plant-based diet. The science shows that scores of studies have documented the important benefits of vegetarian diet. And what I try to teach other doctors is it's not just treating the illness that matters, it's preventing the illness to begin with. When doctors talk about preventative medicine, they talk about mammograms. A mammogram doesn't prevent cancer, it's early diagnosis. We have to get into the habit of learning what Hippocrates said and let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. I've tried this in our hospital, actually giving prescriptions to patients for fruits and vegetables, and they go to our little pharmacy here. Pharmacy, yeah. And I tell patients, you look at these two ladies, they're both 74 years old. And while genetics plays a part, so does their lifestyle, vegan and not vegan, and it really makes a big difference. And so part of the reason you're here is to get healthy yourself. Part of it is to influence others to get healthy so that we don't have this huge burden on our healthcare system. But there's more, because this isn't just selfishly, we need to get healthy ourselves. Our planet is really in trouble right now. And it's not something you talk about at HealthFest, but the USDA this year said we need to start talking about it. We need to start understanding that what we eat has an effect not just on our health, but also on the health of our planet. What they're not talking about that well is the fact that animal agriculture is a huge part of this. As we know, animal agriculture produces carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is going through the roof. Ocean temperatures and land temperatures are increasing. And, you hear Ted Cruz say, well, in 2005 and in 1998, the temperatures were the same, so therefore there's no global warming, which, it's ridiculous. This was the hottest year ever, and if you look at it over time, it's going up tremendously. Donald Trump tweeted today that if it's so cold, where's the global warming? And someone said, I'm full, where's the world hunger? I was like, yeah, that pretty much sums up. But we are seeing these things dramatically in this world right now, and it really scares me for my children. And it's something that we really need to take account for, because even slight changes in temperature in this world has a huge effect on our economy, on our ecosystems, and up to 60% of our personal eco footprint is embodied in the food that we buy. What we eat, what we choose to put on our plate has unbelievable global effects. And if you look at the carbon footprint of a meat lover versus a vegan, it's dramatically different. This blew my mind, and I've fact-checked all of this. 1 pound of beef is 2,500 gallons of water. 55 square feet of rainforest, 16 pounds of grain, and 80 kilograms of CO2. In the forest, the rainforest, we're tearing up our rainforests, and the rainforests are the lungs of this world, and we are a cancer on those lungs right now. So if you could turn to a vegan diet, you are saving 1,100 gallons of water every day, 45 pounds of grain, 30 square feet of forest, 20 pounds of CO2, and one animal's life. We never talk about in medical conferences and health conferences the animal's life. But I think this is a place where I'm going to come out and do that, because the way we treat these animals is disgusting. It kills me every day that animals are being treated like this by the millions. And we are supporting it with every dollar that we do. And we're even supporting it when we don't come out strongly against this kind of behavior. It is unbelievable to me that 59 billion animals are eaten every year. It's absolutely crazy. And I really think it adds to this kind of global aggressiveness that we have, this tendency towards war, this tendency to say, gosh, we need guns all the time. And really what I really hope is that part of this conference actually fosters in you a sense of kindness and a sense of caring for more than just our health, more than just the environment, but also the animals that are so tortured and abused by our society. Because it's strange to me that all these different things can be affected by what we eat, and yet taste seems to outweigh that. So the other thing I hope you do is go to Chef AJ's classes and the other cooking classes and learn to make some nice tasting food to feed to your carnivore friends. Because, they don't want to acknowledge the cow in the room, but when you get it out there, like at my Super Bowl party, we had lentil tacos and buffalo cauliflower, and my friends were like, wait a second, this is actually pretty good. So I'll just close out real quickly. Luigi Fontana is this unbelievable researcher for longevity, and he had this great paper that was published, and it was about longevity, but I thought this line was so interesting in a formal scientific paper to have this kind of opinion. And he said, at the individual level, reducing the intakes of calories by increasing the consumption of a variety of minimally processed plant foods and by significantly reducing the intake of animal foods will significantly increase health span, reduce health costs, environmental pollution, soil erosion, water pollution, CO2 production, and global warming, violent weather, and associated planetary consequences. My God, this is a cure for everything. And that is what I want you to know here. Or, as our future speaker tonight will tell you, the most ethical diet just so happens to be the most environmentally sound diet and just so happens to be the healthiest. So, when you leave here this weekend, understand that what you do speaks so loud I cannot even hear what you say. Be that example in the world. There's a lot of people walking out there in darkness. Show them the light. And never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens could actually change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that has changed the world. So keep calm. After this, you're going to be on a mission. But then again, don't keep calm because the earth is being destroyed by psychopaths. Thank you very much.